Man, this is the day where I'm about to be the best day trader in the world. Boy, was I wrong. The first time I left my job, it was hard. It was the hardest decision because I was scared. Why am I leaving my career where I make consistent income in that I can rely on, cold turkey, to pursue something that I have no clue if I'm going to be good at or not? In this case, it's trading, but for you, it could be anything. It could be anything that you want to pursue. So I didn't just jump with no plan. I did have a plan. And my plan, in fact, was first, I need to get my finances in order. I had to make sure that my bills were paid, everything was taken care of, and then I could pursue trading with an actual chance of making it without the stress of having to make money right away. Now, I was thinking that way, and we'll get into what actually happens when I start trading, because it did not happen that way. But what helped me a lot is I actually decided, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and save up 6 months worth of income. And that was the initial plan. And I had this plan before I decided to leave my job. I always thought, you know what, if I ever want to leave, I want to make sure I have some income where I can find a new job. So I saved 6 months worth of income to pay all my bills, to pay everything, including how I lived my day-to-day life. So whatever that was for you, or for me in that case, I was very, very tight, and I wanted to make sure I could only use a little bit of money. And I only gave myself around $100 to spend for fun. So that's how strict I was, because I wanted to save 6 months worth of bills. And then I decided that wasn't enough. I wanted a year's worth. I saved up a year's worth, and then that's when I felt ready to finally say, you know what, I think I can make a decision to leave somewhere. I was still scared, but you're not as scared when you know you could pay for yourself to live for a whole year, because you can get a job pretty much anywhere. I mean, right now we got the great resignation going on, right? Where everyone is leaving their job. So this might be the best opportunity for you to figure out if you want to pursue something you really want to do, right? Because you could find jobs. That's not the problem. After I saved up a year's worth of income, my initial plan was to try to trade or do my side gig while I'm doing my main gig. And I tried doing that. I was in management, so I had to answer a lot of questions, I had to deal with a lot of people constantly. So it made it very difficult for me to multitask. And so that plan kind of got shot out really quick, right? Like I was like, this is not gonna work. Especially for trading, you gotta be really focused. You have to be focused. And so I said, you know what? I may be able to work from home. So I asked if I could work from home, and they said no. Because this is not 2021, right? 2020 where people can work from home. It's not the normal now. It wasn't. So the answer was no, but I tried that before I left. Because I was like, what if I could work from home and do it at the same time? When I was told no, I finally got out the courage and I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave. And now when I left, it wasn't easy. Like the day I was gonna leave, I brought my buddy Rico with me, and I was like, we gotta record this. And maybe you could share a little clip of us when we recorded that day when I quit. You could hear the nerves in my voice. It's crazy, man.
How'd it go?
It went really well. He took it very well.
Really?
He just wanted to know if I was going to a competitor, which I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
And so, man, I was shaking. But on that day, when I walked up there, I mean, I felt good for a moment. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm about to leave this place. And when I actually got to the CEO's desk and sat in front of him, I was freaking in panic mode. My heart was pounding. I was like, my mind was saying, what are you doing? Like, you worked your butt off to reach this. I was a partner at a firm at the time, at a partner level, and now you're gonna leave it? You're an idiot. And then the other part of me is like,
you'll never be happy.
You know, I was like,
you need to do what you need to do.
I had it all planned out what I was gonna say, and I was just, as soon as I started, I just said, you know, once I gave him a resignation, he took it very well. He was put off. He didn't know that was gonna happen. So I left on a good note, but I'm like, I have a rush of adrenaline. I'm excited, and now I'm off to the new journey part of my new life. So I'm excited. So now I have nothing holding me back. When I left, I had a huge rush of adrenaline. I left the office, ran downstairs, said what's up to Rico. We were just excited, and we thought, or at least I thought, man, this is the day where I'm about to be the best day trader in the world. Boy, was I wrong.
And how's it been going so far on the trades and stuff?
So I took a break for a while until I get this handled. And now I'm starting fresh, starting July. I'm gonna start trading again, and then I'll record and document my journey and make sure I get better by watching my own videos so I can get better off of it. So now you're probably thinking, what about your wife? Did you explain it to anyone else?
And your family know about it?
My mom and dad does, yeah.
What'd they say?
They're supporting me. They're like,
Yeah?
you gotta go for it. And my wife supports me 100%, so it's exciting.
That's dope.
I did not explain it thoroughly, like, hey, I'm gonna quit today. It was just like in the air. I was like, yeah, I'm not really happy. I'm thinking about leaving. And she knew I saved up and stuff. And she's like, well, you know, you can always find another job. And that was the conversation. It was never like, I'm gonna leave and do my own thing, like in just cold turkey, like out of the blue. But I did. So that's what I ended up doing. I didn't go into detail and let my spouse know, although she tells me that I should have. And I agree with her. I should have informed her, because there's an actual interview with me and her where she explains what it was like to go through this whole journey with me. And it was stressful for both of us, but for her as well. So after I left, my plan was to trade
small,
and then once I find out what works, start sizing up. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know much about trading. And at the time, I thought I knew a lot. Okay, so like now looking back 4 years later, I can tell that I didn't know a thing. I didn't know anything. The less you know, the more you think you know, is pretty much the truth, and definitely the truth in my case. And so I thought this is gonna be easy. You know, I trade small for about 3 months, and then after I find consistency, then I'll size up in the next 3 months. And I was like, by the end of the year, I'll be making what I was making as a partner. I ended up losing money that year. I didn't make anything. There was moments where on the 6-month mark where I was like really depressed just for like 2-3 days straight though, where I was just like crying. And because I felt like an idiot for leaving something that was so good to me in terms of financially to pursue something that I had no idea, just cold turkey. And that was constantly in my head, like, you gotta start over. What were you thinking? And all the people who I told, like, who found out, right, who knew I left my job, they were like, why would you do that? I was just visualizing their faces like, oh, you're not, we told you, like something like that. And so it would really get on me, and I could not shake it. And I couldn't shake it for the remaining 6 months of my training at that point. And so I was constantly thinking about trying to make my money back because I wanted to prove to everyone out there that I could trade. And that's the wrong way to think, by the way, because you need to prove to yourself that you could trade. You need to just focus on you, because now, looking back, where I am today, if I could go back there, I would say, hey, don't worry about anybody else. This is a game of you versus you. Learn how to master your own psychology and your own mentality, and you could become a great trader. I might have not listened to him. I'd be like, what are you talking about? There should be a pattern that works all the time, and I just trade that pattern and I always make money. If you're thinking that, you may not believe me either, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not true. It takes time. Patterns evolve, they change. So you gotta work on yourself so you can always adapt and change and grow, just like as the market grows. So as I was coming up to my last month, and I knew I had to get a job. So about 2 months before that last month, I decided, let me find something, because I'm not doing good. I'm not making money, I'm losing money, and this sucks. Luckily, I ended up finding a competitor of my old firm and applied, got the exact same pay position, so I was very, very lucky, okay? I was very lucky. And immediately didn't skip a beat. I made exactly what I was making back then, and it felt great. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go work and I'm gonna save up. That was the plan. I was like, I'm gonna go back to work and I'm gonna save up another year's worth of income because I want to go at this again. So that was the plan going in. After I started that job, I saved up quickly, as fast as possible, another year's worth of income. And this time I told my wife, and she was prepared. She was like, okay, I understand, I support you. And I was so thankful for that. But she was like, you better have a plan and you better stick to that plan. And I said I would, but we know how that goes, right? You'll find out in just a second. But what I will say is that second time of leaving was easier. Like, I was not shaky. I was not freaking out. I just went in and said, all right, I'm just gonna let you know this is my last 2 weeks. And then in that industry, you don't do your 2 weeks, you're just out the next couple of days. I was out pursuing trading. And as soon as I did that, I went in with the plan. The plan, let me tell you the plan. There's 2 plans, okay? The first plan was the plan me and my wife discussed. It was, I'm gonna start off paper trading, then I'm gonna trade real small, and then I'm gonna gradually grow. Let me tell you what actually happened. I traded real money right away. I said, I got this. I don't need paper trading. Paper trading, that's for noobs, right? Like that's for people who don't know how to trade. That's for people who have egos, right? And that's what I had a huge ego. So that's all I was thinking about. It was making decisions for me. It was making me make that decision to just trade real money, which is the worst thing you could ever do, especially if I showed that I can't do it in the first year. But I went ahead and did it. And the only good thing I did is I reviewed all of my previous year's trades. And I went into detail and found out what I was good at. And so my goal was to kind of focus in on that. However, being undisciplined, I didn't. I still dabbled everywhere. That entire year, even though I knew I was good at short selling, big overextended stocks, I still did other things because I'm undisciplined at this point. And due to that undiscipline, through that whole time, I just broke even the entire year. Now, during that time, I was just concerned of thoughts that went through my own head because I knew as I was breaking even that I'm gonna have to get a job again. But I also knew that I'm never gonna stop pursuing trading. And so what immediately came after that is, what is my wife going to think? Is she gonna be able to stick through that? Because this could take me 10, 20, 30 years. Like I wasn't thinking anymore, this is gonna be a year. I was thinking this is gonna be how long it needs to take, and I'm gonna do it where it takes me 20 years till I get it. And when I had that mentality, I knew my biggest fear was like, am I gonna end up getting a divorce? Am I gonna have to leave because I have to pursue this? Because I can't drag someone that doesn't want to be part of that journey. But I was also scared that, am I gonna ultimately just fail? Because this is my second year and I didn't lose money, I just broke even. And that was a positive. I showed myself, but don't get me wrong. There was that negative Nancy behind her just constantly saying like, really? Break even, that's what you're gonna fall on. But that's what I fell on. I was like, I broke even so I can reanalyze this year's trades, see what I'm really good at and focus on it this time. And so that was the initial plan. And during that last couple of months, I decided to find a new job. I already knew what I was gonna do. I was gonna save up and leave. Like you already know the routine. So I found a new opportunity and it was the exact same opportunity that I left the second time. So that job that picked me up, that competitor picked me up again. And this time I negotiated to work from home. And I thought, this is it. I could work from home. This is 2019. I could work from home and I can trade. What do I have to do? There's no complaints here. And I got my same income. Thankful to God that I could do that from the other two jobs. Like nothing really dropped. So I was really happy about that. 3 months in, I was miserable. I hated it because I couldn't multitask. And I didn't want to do that job anymore. I didn't want to do it. I was done. I was tired of doing it. I wanted to trade because I loved it. I wasn't making any money. We just talked about what happened, but I loved it. I said, you know what? I need a job that's not as taxing. That's not like, you got to do this. Like I manage a team. I also manage my own territory and traveled. So I was like, I need a job that's just easy grunt work. That way I can get it done quick and then continue trading. So I quit and found a part-time gig where I can work from home, and it was so easy. I literally got it done in like an hour and pursued trading. And that's all I did. And when I did that, it's like something magical happened. Something magical kind of happened right before I left that job, before I found the part-time gig, is I knew what I was gonna do. I knew that I was gonna leave, get a part-time gig and take my time. So I downsized dramatically, traded real small, only traded the setup that I was good at and actually stuck to it this time. Started to see my curve go up, and then I started to see it go up and continue while I had that part-time gig, no stress, created a YouTube channel, which eventually, not quick, took a long time, about 2 years for it to like pick up and actually become another source of income. And it's like showing me that as I have more sources of income and trading is its own source, it's helping me trade with a more clear head and helping me grow as a trader. And on top of that, now I'm able to share my journey with you, share with you all the mistakes I've made. So hopefully you're listening to these mistakes I did, what I was thinking in my head and how you should think differently, because it's all in your head. It is all right here. And the more you search for indicators, for setups, you're gonna be lost for a long time. Granted, yeah, setups, they matter, sure, but you know a setup right now. And you're watching this, but you're still losing. But why? If you know a setup, because it has to do with how you view yourself as a trader. Good luck.